Draft, Team Liquid versus Team Spirit. Question is, the Ling, Angela actually even gets taken out by Team Spirit, so even though it didn't fare well against Fnatic Onyx PH, they're respecting it.
I mean, we say that Angela, yes, it is dangerous in the hands of TLID, one of their signature combinations, but that opens up the draft so much more, right? Again, we're not seeing the Jushin. Bruno, also a big question mark in everybody's minds. We've seen a couple of answers to it with the Granger and the Beatrix, obviously, but even then, it just takes one bad fight, and I'm concerned specifically about Cho.
Yeah, I'd love to see them actually contest the Cho. I think that's going to be the big thing, and same thing can be said too. Now that the Bruno's out of the picture, what does that gold lane matchup look like? I was actually glad that or even earlier today, we got to see the Natan pick. You know, that actually came through.
Yeah.
There's some things happening, but one thing we haven't seen too much of, aside from maybe what the Harith, I think, is those magic gold laners that have popped up previously, even in other tournaments throughout this year. And, you know, I'm still expecting at least Moscov's to come through.
Please no.
Else. Yeah, I know you don't feel good about it.
Please no.
That's the reality we're in here, Redmar.
Okay, so with Team Spirit taking out the Eve, I feel like this is them saying they still want to continue with their line of thinking against RRQ Hoshin Indonesian teams. We will still do our best to dance with them in the fights. So a little bit of a background check on the draft pattern of Team Spirit so far in the M6 World Championship. They pick at least one core in the first phase, especially when they're on the blue side, a mid laner, and then one flexible pick. We talked about adaptability, Gideon. I feel like I agree with you now. The flex pick coming up in the first phase for Team Spirit will be a big thing.
I'm hoping that it's going to be a big thing, but Fanny is wide open, and this is one shot's moment. He really needs to live up to his IGM for his namesake. Yeah, he needs to be able to accelerate this game really, really quickly, because I'm not seeing a Cho ban either, so there's still a lot of ways for TLID to completely shut down the Fanny pick. And Moskov, one of those few answers.
There it is. You know, that Moskov coming through, the Phoveus too. We've seen so much of this pick right now. I'm still wondering if they go with what I like to call the purple trifecta. You know,
yeah.
At least go that way. It's true though, right? So even earlier on from Rora, I think we saw, was it the Vexana that actually came through with a similar lineup already, but also the Valentina obviously still available. They don't have to get it now, but they can play around it, and that sounds like it's
that's
going
purple?
to be, yeah, that's purple. So it's still the purple trifecta.
Oh, but it's one of the newer ones popping up. Oh, interesting.
Well, I mean, it was old and then went out of meta, and now it's coming back in there once again. And I think it's a great pick against the Phoveus.
Yeah, 100%. And of course, they lock in the pick for Hiko. So instead of showing just one core, they show both of their cores, and they pick up a glue to instantly respond into the Phoveus. And there is as well the Joy, which because of the Fanny, because of the glue, now I think Team Spirit needs another chunkier presence just to help heal for the back line, because this Joy pick to me makes a lot of sense. The two other picks paired with the Beatrix right now looks like they might actually leave the Beatrix alone, making it easy for the Joy to pop off against Hiko.
Well, I mean, we got to start thinking about answers towards the Joy, right? And I think that from TLID's perspective, it makes sense if you want to pick up the Troll on your side. It is more on Team Spirit's prerogative to get rid of it. But even then, yes, get rid of that Loi, get rid of the global presence.
That's so good. I actually thought that maybe Team Spirit might want to go for a let's fight very tight together, like a Ruby Loi last two picks for Team Spirit.
Especially because of the fact we saw how good the Ruby worked against those, those heroes that do get away, or even the Cho, for example. They're still going to kind of focus down on those counters into a Fanny, the possibility, because that was my next question, how do you protect this Fanny? How do you allow that Fanny to have that, freedom to get the buffs that they need? Because you guys know it's always the same. When Fanny is picked up, it's such a high-risk, high-reward hero, and eventually if you fall behind, you don't even get a chance to really see your purple buff, because there's just so much pressure. So I think part of it too is, what do they use to actually protect this and make it the best case scenario, where then again you can also shift things as the game goes on and then rely on the Beatrix later on?
Well, I've got the answer for you right here, and I think this is why Team Spirit showed their cores really early on. Well, not cores, they're side laners, right? Beatrix can force priority. Glue has a winning matchup against Phoveus, but can also force priority at the cost of a little bit of health. When your side laners are able to collapse towards that purple buff side of the map, the only thing that Team Spirit is missing right now is how do we get mid to push out just as fast?
So whatever the roam mid combo for Team Spirit is going to be, it needs to be something that clears minion waves fast. We're not going to, you know what? Yeah, this Phoebus is probably going to go into the EXP lane because, again, one of the off-kilter ideas we've seen in the past that has worked.
Roam Phobius?
No, glue mid.
Oh, glue mid, yeah.
To get that quick level 2 so that you can invade right away afterwards. But yeah, most likely because of how we've seen glue against Phobius in the past, they're just instantly going to put it there.
Oh,
there it is. Bones of Steel.
Wow, interesting. Interesting. Out of all the picks, they wanted to go for Gothard here when they could have gone for Cho, and now Team Spirit going in with the Belleric on top of that?
This might actually be a Belleric EXP, something that they've shown in the EECA.
Yeah.
No, but then they've got, then Glue goes as a means to an end? Can Casablast Glue as a roam support?
Yeah.
Could be.
You know, we were talking about leading into this, guys. We were saying, you know, this is a time, the best of one. This is the last best of one, at least for the Swiss stage, for the most part, right?
Yeah.
This is the last one, so why not actually go with something a little more flexible if they do that? Again, this is all kind of theory right now, also depending on what this last pick's going to be. But if it might be enough to go ahead and test that limit against TLID, there's the Valentina.
Really, really great stuff coming in from Coach Vren here. He's looking at it from many different angles because both Belleric and as well as Glue, Glue specifically, even if he goes into the support against a Gothard or even the Phobius, doesn't matter which, that Glue is going to beat up these tanks.
Yeah, and honestly now, I'm looking to see just how well Team Spirit is going to be able to play around this Belleric. It's quite hard to read the interactions right now. Yes, the Phobius might actually get taunted. Moskov might not be happy. Joy maybe because that'll proc the passive of the Belleric. Hey, don't you laugh? That's accurate. That's accurate. I'm having a hard time reading it.
I can agree with you because we don't get to see Belleric very often, but it's about counter engage. It deals well with the Phobius if he gets into your back line. It deals with the Joy. It's a huge deterrent. As long as you hold on to the Wrath of the Dryads, TLID has to think twice about going into your back line.
All right, real quick, name me a team. Who do you think it goes to?
I'm going TLID.
TLID.
Yeah, the Belleric's too crazy a pick, but we'll see. Husky, Trex, what about you guys?
Thank you very much to our esteemed panelists, Renma, Gideon, and Naisu. You got Trexki here on the table. Team Spirit against Team Liquid Indonesia. It's a second encounter with the Indonesian team for Team Spirit. I'm liking what Team Spirit has brought out because I have an affinity for Kid Bomba, but we're also looking at the rookies from both ends going up against each other as we're about to head into the land of Dawn for this best of one.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be definitely exciting as we jump in. I like, you mentioned the rookies. We got Hiko, we got One Shot, but One Shot gets the Fanny, which is even more hype. I mean, it's definitely going to be exciting, but take us in, Husky.
Here we go, Land of Dawn beckons. Last series between Vamos and CFU Fanny was completely ignored, but this time Team Spirit will not let it go to waste. One Shot has a chance, and he has that one shot. You better not let it slip. Both junglers starting on the purple buff. It will be a mirrored path over One Shot and Fabian.
All right, so taking a look at both drafts, I mean, both of them quick moving. They have these aggressive junglers. They have the ability to scale, but I will say One Shot, we know how the Fanny is. We know if those pop-offs can happen early on, if he can start this game in the laning phase with a 1-0, with a 2-0, lock in some of those first items quickly. It can get really bad for Team Liquid ID.
And I'm also looking at the adjustments to the Fanny, right, with the more energy regen mid-side.
A little bit of damage, though, in there with the Litho. One Shot looking for that first kill already. Easy goal goes down. One Shot able to find it quickly within the first minute. A nice start for the side of Team Spirit.
Absolutely amazing opening. Yehescu, he had no other choice having to flicker into open area. That is just a wet dream for One Shot. Not only getting that first blood, but now able to head towards that bottom side, get that crab for himself, get that experienced lead. Very good setup. And Team Spirit, you have this draft that is always ready to fight off cooldown, and they have very short cooldowns that enable them to constantly step on the gas.
And we heard it from the panel, they need something that can clear mid quickly. They need something that can get them around this map fast, and having Sunset Lover on this Valentina, having Sawo on this Belleric, it's giving them that answer, and you add One Shot on the Fanny. I mean, it's an aggressive composition that not only can have a decent early game, but has some late game potential as well.
Yeah, and not only that, you also are looking at Team Liquid ID, how are they going to deal with the glue, right? The glue is going to sandbag your Phobias. He's winning Phobias in a 1v1 in any situation, and if you try to dive him, there's always Wrath of Dryad from the Bellaric, from Savo. You gotta look after your backline. You don't want one shot to get on top of Aaron Shiki, because that would be a one shot for sure. Spirit looking to set up at this turtle. If Liquid ID wants to fight, Team Spirit will be ready.
Yeah, one shot, hanging out, waiting for it. Aaron and the rest of the team as well. In comes the taunt, a lot of damage. Guardian comes down, and Fabian able to pick up the kill onto Kid Bomba. Easygle in trouble, though. One shot trying to get the finish, but he just can't do it. Turtle still up. Sunset Lover in trouble as Aaron fends him away. Now Fabian still able to steal it. One shot now on the run. Can he get away? Aaron with Demonic Force tries to get the last hit, but he can't quite do it. Fabian does find a kill onto Sunset Lover. Witty taking the kill. One shot down, the game quickly turns into the hands of Team Liquid ID.
Very unfortunate for Team Spirit. They had the right idea, but Kid Bomba hit. The rest of his team were not ready to respond, so he ended up taking way too much damage before Team Spirit arrived to help him. Kid Bomba going down means that front line for Team Spirit collapsed. Savo couldn't hang on all of his own. He got the Wrath of Dryad, but your damage dealers is in the back line, and not being able to take down your Heskio is just icing on the cake, at least if you're a Team Liquid ID fan.
I mean, I feel like at this point, we're going to have some of this back and forth, right? They already want to kind of kick things off aggressively. Team Liquid ID has a little bit of something back into their hands. They get that first turtle, but the gold is still essentially nil. It's only 650. It could still go any way. But do we think Team Spirit wants to maybe slow things down now? And does Team Liquid ID want to match that, or is this the time that maybe you press on the gas a bit?
I think if you're Team Spirit, you probably have no choice but to slow down. Like that first turtle fight is going to decide whether the pacing remains, right? But if for Team Liquid ID, I don't think you mind playing slow. You got pretty good late game scaling, but if you are Fabian with a 2-0 lead, you're going to be looking to fight every objective.
Yeah, so at this point, this game really, I think both teams really kind of start hitting major spikes around First Lord. Maybe nothing too early, both with marksmans that need a few items to really start popping off. Yes, one shot can maybe get some cheeky kills here and there, but other than that, the rest of the team needs some time to scale. Both teams taking it slow. Yes, we had some action in the beginning, but next turtle is going to be up in about 13 seconds.
I think I see both XP laners now moving to turtle area. Aran will arrive first, and he does have a minor lead over Kid Bomba. Here we go.
One shot, looking for an angle, decides not to go. Aaron Shiki at any point can knock him back, create that little bit of space, but down comes Bennett's Rage. A lot of damage to the backside. AOG unable to connect onto anyone. One shot trying to make his way in. The Miro's Passion finds the target. Fabian drops. Witty drops. Sunset Lover picking up the kill. This should translate into a turtle.
And that is the ideal environment for Team Spirit to fight. Team Liquid ID, they do lose the objective, but you have Aaron Shiki just feeding off of these gold, these free platings on that bottom side. Kid Bomba will try to mash that lane to try and stem out the bleeding, but Team Spirit have found an equalizer, and now they can start pressing that advantage on the top side. One shot here again.
Ooh, one shot's getting aggressive. Aaron on the run. Aaron goes down. In comes Fabian. The SOD able to connect. Hiko falls as well. Fabian decides to back off. It's back and forth right now. Prime time in the Land of Dawn.
Because the Spirit of Destruction landed, Aaron Shiki gets a free lane swap from across the globe, all the way from ID. Moves to top side as Hiko went down, so no one is going to be taking care of that turret, which means that Aaron Shiki continues to get free resources. So in the macro sense, I think for Team Liquid ID, they are okay with that trade. I feel like Team Spirit made a bit of an error. They want to put pressure onto Aran, but having Hiko walk past that tier 1 without much info is a bit of an overextension. But man, Trax, we got a pretty exciting game,
yeah,
right? 8 kills in 5.5 minutes.
We had to take the pause. We had to throw a little ice. It was getting a little too hot there. We needed to chill out for a second. Does look like Team Spirit needed to raise the hand. Sawo. So we're going to take a second till we jump back into the game. But at this point, it still feels down the line. One Shot is looking for those marks nonstop. But the thing is Team Liquid ID is doing such a great job at responding, at quickly recuperating, finding those aggressive moments that Team Spirit tries to bring, like what we just saw when he went after Aaron. But then in comes the Spirit Destruction, and they quickly counterattack. So it doesn't seem like Team Spirit is ever getting anything for free against Team Liquid ID.
Yeah, you are always forcing a trade, and that is why even after a turtle fight and even after taking out Aran, Team Spirit never really got too much of a goal lead. I would even argue it's even, right? It's like a 400 net worth lead doesn't really mean too much right now, and that's kind of what the Moskov gives you, that macro advantage. You can always join a fight cross-map as long as you land that SOD, and you can always rely on Aaron Shiki to arrive on time. So Team Spirit, they have gotten a taste of what makes the team fight tick for them. You know, having Savo and Kid Bomba in the right place and just funneling everyone from Team Liquid ID into this tight space for Hiko to kind of dish out the damage and one-shot hit the backline. They gotta keep replicating that, and at the same time also watch out for Witty. So the battle spells from Hiko, that flicker is ever important, because if Witty ever gets on top of Hiko, I think Liquid ID can just take him out.
Yeah, if they can target down Hiko, it's going to be a big problem. If they can slow him down as much as possible, make sure Aaron Shiki is well ahead, locks in that Holy Trinity a little bit before Hiko can get his third item in, then it's going to be major. And another thing to point out is the Fanny's going to do good, right? The Fanny, it's going to do great once they get to that mid game, but towards late game, I would say the Joy is going to pack a bit more of a punch. Going to be a little bit easier for the Joy to dash through and get to some of those backliners to be able to find Hiko. Team Spirit kind of have this real prime time to try to get ahead, and if they're not able to do it, I gotta say that Team Liquid ID is going to start getting a major advantage.
I agree, and this is sort of why I established that I think Liquid ID, you don't mind playing slow. You got Moskov with that SOD that, again, always gives you macro advantage. Late game damage comes from Joy. Will always be there. He steps on Hiko, Hiko will just vaporize in a second. I think if you're Team Spirit, you're also looking at Savo. If you're ever planning to go late for whatever reason, Savo is the guy that has that instant crowd control to keep Fabian in place. But then what's next, right? How can you take down the Joy? The solution isn't really clear-cut. It comes back to Hiko again, because one shot will be busy dealing with the backline. So I think if you're Team Spirit, you can go even up to a certain extent, but once Hiko gets that second, third item, you gotta start speeding it up.
Yeah, so something to point out with Hiko, in a previous game in this Swish stage, when they were up against a Bruno, though, Hiko rushed the Malefic Gun, right? And this time he goes straight for BOD. Now, do you think the Malefic Gun rush is only when you're up against a Bruno, or do you think it could have been good here? It is a very expensive item to go for Blade of Despair. Now that he's seen this death, it could set him back a little bit.
I think the Malefic Gun rush is more of a my side lanes are already winning, like Kid Bomba is destroying his lane, the Sunset Lover is having a good time, I am not under any threat, I might as well do it.
You might as well do it.
Yeah, might as well do it. But in this case, I think the BOD makes a lot more sense because Team Spirit are actively fighting for the turtle. We saw them participate in the first two turtles, and the second one ended in a very, on a high note, I would say, for Hiko at least. So that one there was very unfortunate. He could have entirely prevented that, just trusting one shot to kind of dive those turrets. But at the end of the day, I think after this BOD, you probably will be looking at the Hunter Strike, or if you want to go Malefic Gun at this rate, I wouldn't blame you. It does buy you distance, you know, from away from Witty and Fabian.
Yeah, definitely can help a lot. You get to switch over to the Bennett. You get to have that distance. You get to have that little bit of damage with the Bennett and everything. But still, now on to the next topic is when I take a look at these deaths, when I take a look at the people that have gone down, and I look at Team Spirit right now, all their damage dealers are hurting. But when we look at Team Liquid ID, Aaron Shiki is feeling good right now. It's 1-0-1. He's deathless. So, I mean, at this point, Team Liquid ID definitely seems to be feeling very comfortable in this game, at least.
Yeah, I mean, they have some time to kind of think about what's going on as we continue to troubleshoot the problem. We're going to hand it back to our panel to discuss more about this ongoing game.
All right, so we're around 5 minutes and 30 seconds into this game between Team Liquid Indonesia and Team Spirit. We're back here to break down a bit of the madness. I think it'll be a good point to start off with the Belleric first. One by one, how are we feeling about the Belleric performance so far?
Personally, for me, I think that the Belleric is a really interesting nuclear option, especially when you're thinking about like TLID wanting to go into the backline, right? With the Wrath of the Dryads, and especially with Hiko on this dangerous, very, very dangerous ult-dependent Beatrix, the combos can be very clean, and we already witnessed it prior.
Yeah, we did, and I think, you know, when we looked at that early game, and I was saying, you know, as long as they get one shot going, getting the momentum going on a Fanny, he did. Then they actually got punished a little bit after that, and then they readjusted. So I think we got a preview of that combo that we're seeing here from Team Spirit. But so far, I think that's the biggest question mark for me. I'm actually not sure if I'm feeling the Belleric just yet. I know we already talked about this even when we, you know, threw it in game on how useful this ultimate is going to be, how useful this hero is going to be from a lineup that Team Liquid ID brought to the table. And maybe it will work out, you know, especially when we start getting to the Lords later on. But for now, we just have to see the previews when all the turtles are taken and how this works out for them.
Yeah, when we were talking about it behind the scenes, we were thinking that for the Belleric, it's actually quite a great pick into the Phoveus and into the Gattacacha. And we saw that in that key team fight where it was Team Spirit that won from a big combo. It was a perfect area near the purple buff. There were a lot of walls. It'll be easy for one shot to get cables off. Where the moment you get the Phoveus and the Gattacacha to enter, once the Wrath of Dryad comes out, they're there for a while.
Yeah.
And then if they can get free to finally rejoin and deal some damage is the question. I feel like though, team fighting wise, that's something that Team Liquid IT needs to respect just a little bit more. But at the same time, Team Spirit, they're overheating a little bit too often.
Well, I mean, overheating is one thing, right? Because at the end of the day, what exactly does the comp want to achieve? And I think that their composition needs to play defensively because Wrath of the Dryads is a very defensive spell, right? The only way to make it offensive is if you flicker on top of their carry and then unleash hell, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But keep in mind that at least from the side of Team Liquid ID, they don't have a lot of disengage. So their fights must be extremely decisive. It's either overwhelming victory or you're going to crumble as soon as you miss those ults.
All right, that's it for us right now. So if you are just joining us, remember, Team Spirit, they have a Belleric with them for Team Liquid Indonesia. They are running a lineup that has a few loose cannons, but it's a bit tough for the team fighting. Let's go back to Husky and Trex for the game.
Thank you very much, panel. We're back in it and see which team is here to win it. So far, 4-4. Not really much of a goal advantage for either side. Just minor injection, minor lead for Team Spirit. But so far, I think I agree with what the panel say. A bit of an overheat from Spirit, but nothing they cannot adjust to.
I do feel like this next turtle could be huge, though, right? This could be the table flipper. This could be where we decide which team's actually going to be taking 1,000+ gold lead at this point. The next turtle could be the decider here. Fabian trying to gain some space. Team Liquid ID as well. With 30 seconds until it, position is going to be key.
It's a bit of an initiative from Spirit. A one shot trying to proxy the wave just to stall out a run. But again, Turtle still not up for another half a minute, so there really isn't nothing much to lose for Liquid ID. Spirit tried to siege the top tier 1. That didn't work out. They did steal the Eternal Guard. Fabian and Aran just showed up. Spirit has the whole team ready though.
Yeah, so at this point, Team Spirit claiming a little bit of position over the mid. One shot, I love the way he's always kind of staying in the back. He's always got a decent position to try to get to the back side of Team Liquid ID. Witty and Kid Bomba both kind of doing their back and forth. Turtle finally up. Sawo gonna try to claim position, pull it over his side as Team Liquid ID does the same.
They're gonna send Eroshinki down to the bottom side. So Spirit, if we get this turtle, we are going to get that bot tier 1. If we need the Moskov to join the fight, he can always arrive with the SOD. Again, the macro advantage that Liquid ID has identified, they're putting it to good use.
And the top tower also looks like it may be going down. Spear Destruction does connect, but is he gonna follow through? Kid Bomba able to get the split, or looking for the split, finally does not connect though. Sunset Lover on the backside taken out by Fabian. Sawo in trouble. Hiko with the counterplay. Nibiru's passion locks on. It's 2 for 1 right now, or 1 for 1. One shot now looking for Ezekiel. Ezekiel might be in trouble, does get terrified, looking for the last hit, able to connect. Kid Bomba trying to find one of his own, put the nail in the coffin, but Aaron doesn't want to go down. Kid Bomba now on the run. Down comes the dunks. Kid Bomba versus Aaron. Kid Bomba finally falls. Turtle does not compute to anyone. Lord finally gonna come up in one shot. Turns it around for Team Spirit. It's back in fourth right now, Husky.
Yeah, and Team Spirit finally finds us minor goal advantage. 1.4, 1.5k. All thanks to Hiko not going down. Fabian just needed one last injection of damage and ease the Nibiru's passion in the face. So Hiko survives. One shot gets 2 kills. Losing Kid Bomba was a bit unfortunate, but Spirit, they found that winning formula. Right now, they're going to try to rush down the Lord.
Yeah, they're rushing for sure. SOD, is he going to pop it? Is he going to come? Witty goes down. Aaron Shiki trying to connect as well, but the damage just too much. He's stunned. He's locked up. One shot takes the Lord. Aaron Shiki still up, trying to get some free hits on a Kid Bomba. Aaron there as well. AOD with the IMU, able to connect and get the kill. Sunset Lover coming through. 2 down, and a Lord over to Team Spirit.
And what the Japanos say, Belleric is a very defensive hero. Aeroshiki couldn't get away in time because he was taunted up by the Wrath of Dryad, so he was stuck in the pit. Now this Lord for Team Spirit, one shot will be fine. That bottom tier 1 will be traded down. Big fat wave in the top side that Team Liquid ID needs to deal with. Team Spirit just found a 3k gold lead, and this composition is incredibly scary when it comes to sieging. Liquid ID, they're gonna somehow try to defend as much as they can.
All right, they're going to try to smash down into this tier 3 on the mid side, claim some ground in the land of Dawn as Lord encroaches on the top. A nice full wave split. Look at one shot on the boss side as well. Team Spirit doing very well at syncing everything and making all lanes pressure at once.
You kind of take away whatever advantage that Moscow gives Liquid ID. Now it is the playground for one shot, right? Fanny loves it when the enemy has no vision on the map, when the enemy has no control. One shot.
One shot doing a lot of damage. The anime battle we all wanted, and one shot wants to try to finish it. Not able to do it, but Hiko takes the tower in the top side. One shot's got to back off. Team Spirit stays to stick around, maybe sticking around too long. They're finally going to back up. It's not time to end it yet.
Not just yet. Play patient. 5k goalie. Spirit in the driver's seat. If only one shot was rocking that lethal ignition, Fabian would have died for sure. But still, Spirit gotten control of the side lanes, and this is where one shot that Fanny is going to excel at, right? Controlling side lanes, you can always force Team Liquid ID to react to that macro play. Lord still has a lot of time before it comes up, so if Spirit can get this mid tier 2, they're going to be in a very comfortable position.
Hiko just needs to stay safe at this point. He did finally get the Malefic gun in. It was a second item after that Sea Halberd, and that's why we're seeing him rock the Bennett right now. He's able to shred down these towers at a distance. He's barely going to switch that gun out unless he really needs to, unless he has to swap out some ultimates real quick. Kid Bomb up in the top side, able to get the stun onto Fabian. Fabian just trying to get away. Sabo also holding down the front line. Watch for one shot. Looking for a way around the back, able to steal this orange buff.
Every single time Kid Bomba and Sabo walks up, Liquid ID would just have to respect that space. It does not belong to them. Witty doesn't really have the same agency as this Belleric or Glue. Neither does Aran. If either of them overextends, they're going to eat a face full of bandit rockets and they will just disappear. So Liquid ID, they got to somehow be able to stabilize the macro.
Nice stun. Hiko in trouble, able to dish back, able to flick back, come out with the damage. Witty, Fabian, next might just be Ezekiel. One shot, does get knocked up, has to back off. Team Spirit though, the counterplay continues to be key.
The idea is there for Aeroshiki, but they just don't have the goal or the resources. We saw Sabo just needed to press one button. One Wrath of Dryad, K-Bomba shows up, ties all of them down. Spirit feeds them, Banner's Rage, takes 2 kills. This Lord open for business. Fabian is still dead for another 10 seconds. Liquid ID, they're not going to make it in time. Spirit can just run it down, take the Lords, and start looking for inhibitors.
Yeah, this should be a free Lord, easy peasy. Luckily, Aaron, I like the SOD almost. We both puckered up for a second there.
It hasn't happened before.
So they do get a little bit of pressure on the bot. He doesn't get that tower though, so at this point Team Liquid has to defend. They do have some siege capability. Having Aaron Shiki, having the shredding ability, having some front line, they should be able to melt down this Lord and hopefully only lose a little bit.
Unfortunately, Team Spirit didn't really sync out the wave that well, so this Lord might not yield the value that they're looking for, but Siege is still there thanks to Hiko with the Bennett. The turret stays alive. There's still one more wave that Team Spirit can utilize, but at least the burden is lifted off Liquid ID. I say the burden is lifted, but Hiko is just walking forward.
As long as Hiko is alive, that tower is not safe at all. You're not even trying to dodge minions. You're just trying to make sure Hiko can't get in range, but the AOG tries to connect. Down comes the Eternal Guardian. Witty taken off the map, a double kill for Hiko, but Fabian looking for the back line, able to take out Aaron. Fabian does find Sabo. Fabian might be in trouble though. One shot, finally wants revenge from the last one. Kid Bomba finds the kill. 3 for 2, but Team Spirit winning out on that one. Make it 4.
Hiko has 10 seconds left before his flicker came back on. That's why he couldn't reposition. But still, every single time Liquid ID dives, they eat the Wrath of Dryad. Spirit might end this.
Yeah, that's going to be it. Team Spirit take them all out in good fashion. Tonight, the Dragons rain fire.
From the north to south.